Good day, everyone. We are Index Zero. I'm Alvin Herbacio, our group's leader slash lead programmer, joined by Wency Marigasigan, our software analyst slash support programmer, and Lance Serna, our video editor slash support programmer. Before we begin, we'd like to thank our professor, Dr. Earl Marquez Albina, for assessing our work and giving us the opportunity to present this activity. In this presentation, we'll walk you through its process. AP traffic light.
So our presentation goal is to program a simulation of a traffic light and pedestrian crossing in Arduino. Second is to break down its code and how it works. So the materials we needed for project components are 1 Arduino Uno, 13 male-to-male jumper wires, 6 220R resistors, 1 breadboard, and 5mm LED.
Setting up the components. Position your LEDs on the far side of the breadboard. Next, insert the resistors into the same terminal strips as the positive leads of your LED. Link the negative LEDs to the Arduino's GND. Following the pattern illustrated in this diagram, this setup ensures that the GND connects to all negative LEDs of your LEDs by linking their terminal strips together. Next, add a button at the center. This.
Code breakdown. By now, you should familiar with declaring constant integers, so we are skipping its breakdown. Unsigned long, an unsigned data type simply means that it doesn't hold negative values. No signs, hence unsigned. If you look closely at the setup function, you can see a digital write function. On a previous video, we stated that this is where you define what an Arduino pin is supposed to do. But we can also set default state here. In this program, we are setting the states of green light and ped red as on by default. Digital write, this function is responsible for reading inputs sent to an Arduino pin. In this program, it is reading off button, which we set as input in the setup function. If statement, as you can see at the bottom, is an if statement. This check for an input from our button. If the button is pressed, at least 5 seconds has passed, it runs the function change lights. Millis, this function is used to determine how much time has passed since the code has started running. We use this in our condition in our if statement to prevent the button from calling change lights until 5 seconds has passed.
And code breakdown. The change lights function manage the sequential, sequential transition of the traffic and pedestrian lights. It begins by changing the traffic light from green to yellow, then to red. Following this, the pedestrian lights shifts from red to green and providing a 5 seconds window for crossing. In the last 5 seconds, A loop causes the pedestrian green light to blink as a cautionary signal. Once this period concludes, the pedestrian light switches back to red, and the traffic light returns to green. Lastly, a changes time is updated using millis to, to log the time of the last change.
Here's our output. Without doing anything, the, the green traffic light and the red pedestrian will always stay lit up until a button is pressed. Once the button is pressed, it performs the sequence said earlier. You cannot press it again until 5 seconds has passed. If I try to press it while it is still performing the current function, it will not work. It has to wait for 5 seconds before it functions again. That's all for our presentation. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed it and see you on the next one.